Inside the Man Cave with Johnny Compian.
Oh, yeah. Hey, put your finger in my fun hole.
It's beautiful.
Graphic language will be used throughout this show.
Now we ready to roll.
Inside the Man Cave with Johnny Compian.
Game over, bitches.
Inside the Man Cave podcast show. Follow me on Twitter at Johnny Compian. And like and subscribe my YouTube page, Inside the Man Cave podcast show. Just search that, like and subscribe, pass the word around, and let's see if we can get this momentum going with this podcast. That would surely help me out. And I'll try to come on here and blast a couple things that I've been seeing either online, on Twitter, just things that are coming across my radar that I want to talk about, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the sports world, which NFL is back. Game one of a preseason, for a Thursday night. And then we get Friday and Saturday. Ooh. I mean, are you guys ready for that? That's good stuff, man. And since, we're ranked, I saw an article about the best place to get barbecue. And number one, I was really shocked. But when I read the article, I understood their criteria and what they were after. So, San Antonio, to my surprise, was number one. You would think right off the back, Dallas, because we've seen that Texas Monthly magazine that ranked all the best barbecue. The best barbecue. Well, this was talking about the best place to get barbecue. And so you think about all that and you're like, okay, what is there to get where? And when I read the article, I was surprised. I was like, okay, it makes sense because there's so many barbecue restaurants anywhere in this city, anywhere you point. They have a restaurant here or there or whatever. And we can debate what's the best in San Antonio. We have before. I remember I'm going to date you back here, on a forum I went on and I wrote a bunch of stuff saying San Antonio has no barbecue joints, and they came after me. Hey, but I defended myself because I stood by it. I think they had like the barbecue station, and I'm just not down. I went there maybe about a year ago. That place was not good. And a lot of people brag about that place. That's why I don't mind going and checking them out. But you have to be good. And everything has to be consistent, right? Because that's what we look for. We stand in line for barbecue because we enjoy it. And you like to taste other people's greatness. What they put together, right? Like snow barbecue. Whew. Never been. It's on the list. I've been to Franklin's in Austin. A couple places in Austin that are pretty good that I really enjoy. Every time I'm there, I'll go and get a plate here or at my favorite place. I try to be, because there's so many good places to eat there. I normally stick to the normal stuff. But anyway, I was really surprised to see San Antonio number one on that list. That was a great article by, I think, mysa.com. and it was a great to see. And they were absolutely right. There is per capita, so many barbecue restaurants that you can get anywhere you look. They're all around us, and some are great and some are not. And that's for you guys to debate. And you can tweet at me at Johnny Compian to tell me your best place you'd like to get BBQ. I kind of like doing my own. I mean, I've had a lot of good barbecue in the city in San Antonio, but I get into now, learning tips from a lot of different people, pit masters. You learn a lot. You keep a lot of the good stuff and you hold on to it, and you use that for a technique when you're making, you're getting ready to smoke some ribs or do a brisket. And that's when I'm still kind of having a hard time with the brisket. I can't, I'll do the brisket and it'll come out good with the smoke ring and everything. I'll smoke it for hours and, take care of it and, do the, just the whole process, man. Cause it's a lot of work. And then when you're done, you're like so tired and you're like, but it's worth it. I just can't perfect it because you see so many and I've tasted so many good brisket in this city. In the state. But brisket is key for me. Like I like Black's Barbecue. That place is really good. It's pricey, but it's good, especially now. I try to go and get Black's here and there, and I saw the prices on that, and they were asking like $25 a pound for lean brisket, and I was just like, that's too much, man. I can make my own. Anyway, I digress. We did have some NFL preseason football. The Giants and the Patriots went at it, and it's just the first preseason game. The Giants took that one 23-21. And then the second game was the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens stomped on them 23-10. It's preseason. Who cares? Yeah, so we'll be getting a lot of football, and that's a good thing, right? Once again, a week goes by and there's nothing, and all of a sudden there's something else. I've been talking about this, and I try not to. I want to be positive about this because I'm going to go to the show when MÖTLEY CRÜE comes into San Antonio, the stadium tour with Joan Jett, Poison, Def Leppard, and MÖTLEY CRÜE. So they're heading our way. It's a countdown to the stadium tour. We're on countdown San Antonio. But ever since this thing started, it started with the crack ribs, and Vince can't do this, and then back to Tommy again, and then back to Vince again, and then just all these things that pop up and they pick up, steam. So the latest one, it's one of those topics where, at first I was like, okay, that was funny. And I thought about it, and I was like, I came across this article, and it was talking about what happened early this morning on IG. MÖTLEY CRÜE's drummer, Tommy Lee, who's 59 years old, he posted a picture of himself sitting on, I guess he's sitting on the toilet, I guess at home, and he's just like, he's nude. And, for CRÜE fans that follow this band, this group, everybody's seen the Pamela and Tommy video, so there's no shock there. We've all heard about it. But the newer CRÜE heads that are young, the people that they want to bring in to keep this kind of machine going, so they can sell their merch and make some money, so they can take those cool trips and sail and go do whatever they go do and ride horses. I don't know, whatever they spend their money on. So you want to keep that going. But when I saw this, I laughed because there was when it comes down, all of a sudden, you're on Twitter and you start reading the threads, and it's just hilarious. At first I was like, okay, I wasn't ready for that, right? You're going through Twitter, checking out your feed, and boom, because it's all over. And then you go to IG, and then, there it is. And for 5 hours, that picture was up that Tommy Lee had posted, and all it said was oops. And so the thread, was going on, and so other musicians were kind of chiming in. The drummer, I think he's a former drummer, Machine Gun Kelly, and he's like, he's like, I'm dying. He's like, your drumstick fell out, and it was funny for a moment, and then I thought about it because, you hear about a lot of stuff on social media, right? We have that censorship and all these things that would happen with OnlyFans. A lot of stuff is, kind of like boiling around IG and how, what they do and how they monitor this, all the stuff that goes down on Twitter and, Instagram and Facebook. They got people that kind of like, they're looking in real time to try to track all this stuff down, and nobody caught it for 5 hours. So, everybody's getting a shot of this, and, you think about, who's on social media, right? These young kids, and Tommy is, pushing 60, man. And you're doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, I love and respect that, man. I have for years, but I think Tommy crossed the line there a little bit, and you might disagree with me and push back a little bit and say, oh, you're not a true CRÜE head. But you know what? Think about that. You see Nikki Sixx on Instagram with his daughter, his young baby daughter, who he has on tour with him and his wife, and he's enjoying it. He's kind of doing that, and then you see this, and I'm sure the other wives, they're like, whoa, come on, man, you can't do that, because they got family and friends that are kind of following, and then that comes out and it's all over the place. And he came out, after that, and I saw a couple of videos. I just didn't watch them. I was kind of just disappointed in him. So we look at this and say, because it's more than, if this would have been Madonna, because she does come on IG and she does these crazy ass photo shoots, and I'm cool with it, but she's just doing some crazy stuff and taking pictures of it, and if you don't have to engage in that, right, you can just kind of scroll down, but you're still doing that. And I don't have a problem with what Madonna does, because Madonna isn't, doing what Tommy did. What would happen if Madonna would have taken down her pants and her top, and the photo was up there for 5 hours? That right there is something to think about. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anything's. I think that IG has moved on. I don't think they're going to say anything. I hope they do. I mean, recognize it at least. Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird and kind of, I think, a little out of line. And then he did this picture that I'll put up. And then, so the pose that he was doing when he's sitting on the toilet or whatever at his home with no clothes on and showing everything. And then they kind of did some effects on it and made it look all crazy. So he doesn't have a problem with it, because he's the one that put it out there. He put that picture that it's like an art piece now. Are they going to sell it or what? It just, that's just kind of like, it's out of line. And I hope somebody said something to him, but Tommy doesn't give a crap. He's gonna just whatever. I'm Tommy Lee, man. Fuck it. You're like pushing 60, and look what you're doing. That shit's going. You got a lot of followers. That shit's going everywhere, and then everybody that picks it up and puts a photo out there, and nobody wants. You don't want to see that. But I'm telling you guys, it's not a good look, Tommy. It's not. And what did I say? Well, I mean, what did I say? About this, because does he get a free pass? There's some major double standards going on here, right? That's what that article that I saw was talking about. And they were talking about all these models would come out on Instagram and post pictures, and they would get flagged for like pornography or something, and they would ban them right off the back. And these were like supposed to be professional photo shots, and they get, just because they were showing like a little skin, they kind of went after him. So what are they going to say about this? What are they going to say about this? And when I say them, I'm referring to Instagram. I mean, are they going to say anything? Are you going to like turn his account off for a little bit and put him on timeout? Or, I mean, you have to do something, right? I mean, I'm not going after him because I'm not hating on him. I'm just kind of calling them out because, dude, I mean, we see all these guys that get arrested for doing certain things, these big names, and they get away with this kind of stuff. It's just kind of crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. What do you think about it? Tweet at me at Johnny Compian, or comment on my YouTube page. Subscribe and comment on the thread of this video. Tell me what you think. I'll respond, and that's cool. We can have a little kind of conversation about it, because forget what he did right now, because it's already gone. They haven't done anything about it. There's no repercussions as of right now that I've heard of. But it's kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up what happened. They dropped the ball. You just think about younger kids and that are on social media, and they happen to see this. I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's disappointing. As a MÖTLEY CRÜE fan, it's kind of disappointing that he did that. Like, there's no need to go there. There's no need to be in the spotlight, because we already seen you, Tommy. We seen you, man. Pamela and Tommy video. We already saw that. We don't need to rehash that, dude. But who knows? Let's see what happens from there, because I don't want to go and check out that thread again. I'm like, I kind of went through and read a couple articles and saw what people were saying, and I just wanted to come on here and kind of put it back out there, because I mean, I might sound like I'm hating on Tommy, but I'm not. It sucks that he did that. There's no need for that, and that was pretty extreme. I mean, is he trying to live out the Dirt movie again? And kind of be like, hey, this is the lifestyle we live. Look at this. Check out my penis. And it's like, dude, you're pushing 60. Nobody wants to see that. Like, stop. Please don't. Nobody wants to see that. I promise you, Tommy. No one, yes, we know. Yes, Tommy. Yeah, we all know, man. But you don't need to scare. There's people that were scared. So don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Vince, talk to him. Nikki, Mick just wants a couch. Like, you know what? I need to just go lay down back here. You guys do whatever. And it seems like that's what Mick has been doing all this time. Because he's like, I know what these fuckheads are going to do. They're going to go out there and fucking get crazy. And except Nikki. Nikki's out. So it's just basically, Vince and Tommy kind of going crazy. Oh, Mick needs to get escorted right away to the nearest couch and give him a blanket so he can relax, right? And get him a V8 juice or whatever. And Nikki's going with his family. He's going to go do his thing, but Tommy's going crazy. And I saw that his wife, Tommy's wife, had posted a couple things on TikTok, and they were funny too. So obviously they're just having a field day with this thing. She doesn't care. She does some pretty good funny videos on TikTok. So, she just, hey, this is the lifestyle we live, and it's cool. We're rock stars, man. But you're kind of, I don't know, it just looks weird. It really just looks weird that you're doing this. And that's what I have a problem with. Like, dude, you're almost 60. You're 59, and you're doing this kind of stuff. Like, no. I mean, can you imagine Keith Richards or someone like that doing that and saying, yeah, look at this? Everybody would be in shock. Like, what is Keith Richards doing? Showing his penis? Oh, goodness. He's royalty. Rock and roll royalty. So I guess you can get away with that if you're that cool. You can do what Tommy did. Just show it. There you go. I just got a problem with it. At the end of the day, I got a problem with it. I'm not too happy with him. Him doing that. It's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for Tommy. But I want to get into, if you look right behind me on one of my cameras, there's 6 albums there. And I've been trying to put up, I'm starting this thing now where I'm going to, at the end of my podcast, or maybe I'll just do it as a separate segment, the 6 albums that I'm listening to right now. The first one that I was listening to is Velvet Revolver, Scott Weiland, the supergroup, Slash. Those guys they were amazing. They were great. They did good music, and I enjoy listening to that album. There's a lot of good stuff that band did. But one song that I like from Contraband is that song "Lovin' the Alien." That, man, if you get a chance, listen to that tune. It's really good. Scott Weiland, oh man, he's just a good singer. He was so great. It's just so sad that what happened. But that right there, Contraband from Velvet Revolver, that's one of my favorite songs on there. Check it out. If you get a chance, check it out. Let me know what you think. Tweet at me at Johnny Compian. And the second one you see there is Faster Pussycat. And that vinyl is called Whipped. It was released in the 90s. There's a lot of good songs on that vinyl, on that album. With the opening tune, Nonstop to Nowhere. That I remember hearing that on the radio, and it was just a catchy summer tune. It still lives up to it. It's really good. If you never heard it, give it a shot. Go to your local record store and pick that up. my favorite tune from that album is Mr. Love Dog. That's a cool tune. Tame Me Down, does a great job on the vocals on that. I haven't had a chance to see the updated band. They got 2 new members. So, the video I've seen, they sound great. They sound edgy still, and Tammy's looking good. He stopped partying and doing all the, the craziness, and he looks good, man. But yeah, those are my songs from that. And the next album on there, it's Seven Dust. Seven Dust. It's the self-titled album Seven Dust. It was released in 1997. And that album as well. The opening, that side 1, opening tune, Black, just in your face. That band has been, they're still around. They're still doing their thing, and some of the members, they're kind of doing their solo projects. But they still sound great. I've seen them, I think, like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I think they're going to come out, and what they did last time, they played this whole album from beginning to end, and that was really cool because this is one of my favorite Seven Dust albums. They got a few tunes that are just great. They put out some really good stuff, so check it out. It's a really good album. And the other one I got up there is Mötley Crüe, The End. The End, what was supposed to be the end. That was filmed in L.A. I saw him the night before that in Vegas. It was pretty cool. It was a cool show. Yeah, Vince was on his way down. But the band sounded great. It's always good to go to a Mötley Crüe concert. And this vinyl, I happened to put it up because we're on the countdown to Mötley Crüe in San Antonio, the stadium tour. So yeah, that's why I have that up there. I pulled it out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to some Mötley today, some live Mötley, and I'll do a couple songs, and that's it. The next album is going to be Stabbing Westward. This one was released in 96. And, really good album. I think it was their second album. So they have really catchy tunes on it. That's one of those things I like to bring out. Is sometimes I'll bring something out that's really obscure, and these are not. But at some point I'll start doing that because I have a good collection and I picked up some good pieces, and I'll bring them out and talk a little bit about them. So, I'll share the knowledge of what I've, why I pick up these albums, the certain albums that I pick up where I seek. And the last album on this list of these 6 is going to be Sponge, Rotten Pinata. That album, man, that one stands on its own right now. It's a really good album. I love the band. Been around those cats. They're really cool. Vinny he's a cool dude, man. I love that guy. Every time he's around and I get a chance to spend a couple minutes with him, I always ask these questions about his side projects, because at one point, this guy was, jamming with Chris DeGarmo, Chris DeGarmo, Mike Inez, and the drummer from Alice in Chains. That was super group. I have the CD somewhere. I think it was called Spies for Darwin. Those guys are great. So anytime I would get a chance to talk with Vinny, I'd ask him about these, and then everybody was like, wow. Because they didn't know that he was a part of these other projects, but I think he just loves music and he likes to participate. And, you ask him to do something, and obviously he was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's do something. I like that. And speaking of Vinny and Sponge, he's got another side project that's coming out. I've already got the vinyl. It's called The Lucid. The name of the band is The Lucid. I don't know, the bass player for Megadeth is playing with them, and I don't know who else. I don't know the names of the other members that are on there, but they had a little bit of a setback because their guitar player, I wish I knew his name. I don't. I picked up the vinyl, and of course it was Vinny's stuff. I'm like, anything that Vinny puts out, I'll play the vinyl, and there'll be at least 3 to 4 songs that I'll be like, man, these are hits. These should be played somewhere. But, you know, you would have to seek them out, and you wouldn't know if I would be able to play them for you, you probably would dig them, and you'd be like, shit, I want to download that right now. But some artists are still complaining, saying that, you know, that YouTube and all these other places are hurting them. And I find that hard to believe because, you know, this wouldn't hurt them. I think, you know, allowing people like me doing podcasts and you know, kind of, you know, wanting to emphasize certain things with music, you know, I think that enhances my product, and then actually they benefit from it. I don't benefit anything from it. I think I'm doing him a service, the artist, or the bands. If I played Velvet or Faster, you know, any of these bands, I think they would benefit from it. There's a lot of groups or guys that I know that play in local bands here that could use help. You know, even if it's a little bit, you know, just something to get it out there. You know, it's tough, you know, not being able to play a lot of different venues still, and things are different. But, you know, that's kind of the pushback I have on YouTube. You know, and the musicians, they need I think we need to have this little powwow and get together and kind of explain, like, hey, it's okay. You know, it's not like Spotify or anything. People are still getting your hits. People are still paying you guys. So you're getting paid, man. You're getting yours. Let us have a little bit. We've bought the albums and the CDs and, you know, the cassettes, which are coming back. So you're still making money. What's the big deal for me playing the copyright? You get copyright tags on here. I mean, just allow that. Let's kind of get together. I wish I can get one of those musicians on and talk about that. You know, somebody out there that it's affecting. Like, dude, every time you play my song, it's affecting it. I want to know why. Anyway, I digress. I appreciate you stopping by and, you know, listening to my podcast. And some days I'll have stories like this. Like, I normally don't talk about what Tommy did. I just been following the band, and, you know, I enjoy kind of putting this out there because I found it funny in the beginning, but I ended up kind of taking a step back and going, okay, is this okay for the younger IG person to kind of walk into this, or how do they feel about it? So it was just a whole process that I went through, and I just kind of wanted to put it out there to you guys. You know, tweet at me or comment on this video if you see it on Facebook or you see it on Twitter or wherever you use social media, whatever platforms you're on. But yeah, like I'll talk about different topics some days. I'll talk about sports stuff, and, you know, there'll be a bunch of different things that I'll throw at. And like I've been saying, I'm going to get somebody in here with me soon, but, you know, I'm still kind of working up everything and trying to get everything set up. And I got at least, you know, 4 or 5 mics in here all set up, ready to go, and different cameras. So it would be cool to get at least 3 people in here, or 2 or 1, whatever, you know, and kind of do some cool stuff. Get some experts or people that just been around to kind of share their stories and their point of views on different topics that we listen to, and that we hear, like water cooler talk, right? You hear at your work, things like that you can share, and you can't really talk about it, you know, at your work because, you know, some of those topics are kind of crazy. So you got to save it, and you get home and you're like, damn, I can't talk to my buddy about this or that. Hey, just pop on, like and subscribe my YouTube page. Some of the topics in there are kind of or I'll bring out different music to jam to, something new that I've put my hands on. Like at the last podcast, I put A to Z, which is Ray Alder's band, singer of Fate's Warning. He's got, speaking of projects, that guy has got projects left and right as well, as like Vinny. They just love the music. They love to partake in different projects. And I love that because, like I've always said on this podcast, I'm all about the music. I love it. Everybody has their own taste and, different point of views on music, right? To me, music is a, big priority in my life. It's something that I'm just looking at this MÖTLEY video up there, the Carnival of Sin tour. I remember being at that. That was they played at the AT&T Center. That was a great night. I was in a corporate box, a Clear Channel corporate box back in the day when that tour came to San Antonio. So I was with a couple people from work, and all this craziness is going on, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's a MÖTLEY show, so it was right down my alley. I don't know about everybody else that was with us in the group, but they kind of were like, yeah, those were fun. When you were able to go and go to these corporate gigs where, I mean, not gigs, I'm sorry, events where the company would provide the box and you can just go check out. I think I saw Depeche Mode as well with one of the corporate suites. Who else? I don't know. I think like Green Day. Yeah, those couple. They're fun, but you really can't let loose because you're with like your boss and some of your other coworkers, and you don't want them to like, oh, dude, this dude's fucking whack. Which is true to a certain point, but yeah, I appreciate you guys giving me some time. If you got some topics or if you want to come on this podcast, we can Zoom you in. I'll send you a code, put you in one of those little boxes there, and we can chat. We can catch up. If I know you or if you want to get to know me, you want to debate me on something and, make me look like crap because I, really wouldn't have much of a fight. I just kind of like to talk about these topics and what I think. I kind of don't. That's why I don't get into the political thing on this podcast because it gets kind of heated. Even hanging around with certain people, and you mention certain things because being a part of the media for so many years, the news media, that's where everybody, they knew you did that. So, of course, you would get asked these questions. And you, okay, you want to know what I think this, or this is what I heard, and la 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 la, and then boom, they just come at you. So that's kind of what, on this music stuff, that'd be cool to get that, and then on the sports, stuff that I got, some of the sports topics I bring up. I didn't really talk about training camp. I talked about the preseason game, the first one, because last Thursday we had the Hall of Fame game. Speaking of the training camps, I didn't bring up, I said the Dallas Cowboys were doing a little scrimmage, I guess, with the Denver Broncos up in Oxnard. Which those days, is cool because they get tired of hitting each other, or they can't hit each other that well. So they're like, you know what? Bring somebody else in here so we can hit. And it's good to see because then you get to see a little bit more. Everybody wants to shine, but you still got to be careful. You can take the car out for a drive, but don't wreck it, right? So that's the way I feel about those Cowboys, and you see all these other things. You're already hearing there's injuries and season-ending injuries in preseason, and I tell you guys that it happens, man. It happens. You know, some of these players come out there and, you know, they kind of turn quick. They're not used to the grass or whatever, you know, they're practicing on, and boom, there goes an ACL or this or a broken wrist or whatever you think, you know. That could happen because there's strange injuries that happen during training camp. Believe me, heard of a lot of different crazy ones, injuries. So that's going to do it for this podcast. I appreciate it. Follow me and like, you know, my page on YouTube, Inside the ManCave Podcast Show. Follow me on Twitter at Johnny Compian, on Facebook, on IG, on TikTok, all of the above. And I promise you, I won't do what Tommy did. Tweet at me at Johnny Compian on Twitter. And you can also support the podcast show on anchor.fm/Johnny5150.